Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. On today's review, I have with me the brand new Christopher Ward C63 Celeste, a new release of the iconic C63 with a crystal Aventurine dial. Now I've covered a few Aventurine dials in the past, and every time I see them, I get the same feeling of just awe when staring at these infinitely starry dials. Now I managed to do a bit more digging into Aventurine since my last video, which featured the Suggest Aventurine dial, and it turns out it was actually invented back in the 17th century on the Venetian island of Murano, and by accident. Basically, a guy tipped in some metal shavings into a pot of coloured molten glass, which then turned out to look absolutely amazing. What a discovery, right? Now, so the level of shimmer does actually depend on the type of metal used in the molten glass, and Christopher Ward have gone for copper, which gives a very slight tinge of reddy sort of orange to the crystals at certain angles. Now, Aventurine is also notoriously difficult to work with, being quite fragile, so it's great to see some fine craftsmanship and crafting techniques being used in watches. Now, coming back to the watch in hand, I don't think this review will be all that long, as we've seen the C63 numerous times now. So I'm going to focus on what the differences are with this particular one against the others, and they have changed a few things on the Celeste. Now, specifications and dimensions will be on screen for you guys. This is the 36mm version, which is ever so compact, thanks to the 42.5mm lug to lug. And you have to be a lover of small watches to wear this, because even for me on my 6.5-inch wrist, this looks rather small. Now, in terms of price, Christopher Ward do have some of the most competitive prices when looking at entry-level Swiss watches, and I genuinely think they offer unbeatable value at this price point. This is only £750 on the leather strap, but if you wanted it on the Bada or the new consort bracelet, then it goes up to around £900, and it's a tough decision, to be honest. The Bada will tip this watch more into the sportier category, and the consort will make this appear a lot more dressy, but this all depends on what the dial does for you. And I believe they have made this dial lean very heavily towards the dressier end of the scale. You'll notice the absence of a date wheel, which I'm all for, a clean and symmetrical look, but they've also removed the minute track and just left us with diamond polished batons. This to me is a clear decision to make this watch go down the dress watch route. They've also not brushed anything on the dial. The other C63 versions had those amazing hour markers with the polished end bevel and the brushed slithers to complement the polishing, but this is just pure and simple polishing on the batons, which do have a chamfer in the center to increase visibility. And they went with the fully polished hands, no brushed arrow tips like the previous versions, and the second hand is also very minimal with no trademark trident. Now, the only bit of brushing you will find is on the applied rhodium twin flag logo and simple white text just above the 6, as well as a Swiss made on either side of the 6 o'clock baton. So there's a lot of elements on this dial which give you that dress watch setup. So I think this watch would suit the consort bracelet more so, as the bracelet does have a lot more polishing mixed with brushing. But even then, I thought, what about the bezel? Should the bezel also be polished? Which would, I think, complement the dress watch look in my opinion. But then this also means that Christopher Ward would need to make two versions, one with more brushing or previous features on the dial, which then would match the Bada bracelet a lot better, and then this shinier version to pair up with the consort. But that's just me, right? As it stands, it may look fantastic on both, but I only have the leather strap available to see it on, and it's the perfect leather strap in my opinion. It's super soft, supple, and it's a high grade of leather. But I did think it was a little small though, coming in at around 11 centimeters on the longer side. Now, for reference, with my 6.5-inch wrist, I am still sitting quite close to the outer holes on the strap. So this point is worth considering if you have a much larger wrist, but then again, would you really go for a 36mm, which weighs even smaller due to the compact lug to lug? Now, my viewpoint aside, it's still a very beautiful watch. I love the dial and how endlessly dynamic it is, and paired with the incredible light catcher case, which in my opinion is the best sports watch case ever. The watch does look so impressive with a great value price as well. Now over to you guys, let me know your thoughts on this. What would be the right bracelet combo with this, or would it just be a strap monster instead? Drop it in the comment section below. Now that's it for me today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.